Good morning, my friends. Welcome to Satsang. That what you are is definitively formless. Two, it takes all forms. So when we are contemplating, like we did now, silently, it is somehow we could say a direct language of your real nature. Still a language, still a way to take a form, to appear. And it's a blessing to be able to be taken by that. Yet one day one has to hear that it's also a form, an expression of what is inexpressible. And so there will be, even though some preferences may be there for silence, but there will be no illusion that that is a silence only. Or you can say that real silence is absolutely prior or beyond the silent expression and the active expression. Anything unclear about that, or some questions, doubts, something which makes you search, please tell. It's a very efficient way to be freed from what you cherish. And that cherish idea you keep makes you suffer. Because you see this only idea, I'm not free, I'm not myself because, and so many arguments are there, makes suffer, makes you search, while in fact you have not to search, because it's already there. It's even before you took birth. And it never leaves, even when the birth comes, appears, it is not affected by that, nor by the death of the appearance. If you want to hear something more from me, you have to ask me, because I don't know what to say more. What else to tell? Tell me something. And if you don't tell, it's totally fine, because the goal is not necessarily to say anything. But if you rest on something, that is not all right for yourself.
How do we, or how do you rest in who you are when the demands of the world come in and not get into negative emotions or reactions?
This body will always react. This body will always react. But if you say that you realize yourself, then it's not your base. You rest in yourself, and this person who appears reacts according to its practices or its temperament or whatever. You cannot oblige a human being to be so detached and to be like a stone. Otherwise you should have taken birth as a stone.
So the reactions come and go.
Yeah.
And we stay who we are.
It's your conclusion.
And just saying, is that what you were saying? That we will have
We never
reaction?
lose ourselves, even when we think we lost. Imagine. Huh? It's amazing. But we just confuse ourselves for some idea, some appearance, special appearance. That's why we think if it is an appearance, it has to come and go. And when it goes, then feel, oh, I lost myself, because we have an image of how it would be, a concept. Or we got an experience, but an experience is not it. So let's be denuded of any wish to make it out, to figure it out, because that is feeding the mind again, the person. If you drop to figure it out, what will you will do? What you do? Nothing. And is a you could remain in nothing forever? A you, a I as a person, can it remain in nothing? No. Very good. So don't remain.
Pardon?
So don't remain. Let it, I, disappear as reality. It will still appear, but as reality. This is an illusion.
Thank you.
So it's me.
I.
How to be free?
Not thinking that this question will solve it. The answer to this question. You see, how to be free means you don't feel free. That's why you ask the question. It's all based on some reference which has to be, which relies in the body or in the emotions or in the ideas. And who you are in reality doesn't have a shape. It takes all shapes, but if you take particularized one shape, it's not it. It has no shape and all shapes. So how to be free? Just go back from where the question arose. When you go back, do you go that side? You rather go that side. Huh? Yes. And don't stop at any answer. They will be only mental. We have to be freed. It makes sense here, you see, from the tyranny of the mind. The mind is tyrannizing us by giving always answers or questions, but expecting an answer. One could be freed from this so-called power. We believed in it, that's why it took that much power. Remove your belief. If you want to know yourself. And this knowledge is not a knowledge you acquire, it is a realization. It is a waking up to what was already there, always. before going?
I don't think it's a question, but sometimes your words are very striking and they direct me to a particular place.
To which place?
Nowhere, but at the same time somewhere that is familiar.
That is
Familiar?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the travel.
Yes. So so in one hand I feel very, and just because I feel it's already in my mind.
Yes.
So I get a little bit confused as to, is that the right direction or not?
Is it the right direction, but a direction doesn't mean there is a stop somewhere. You see, you stop at nowhere, which is still linked to somewhere. It's just an opposite experience due to inner practice to go inside. Outside you always go somewhere, isn't it? Inside also up to a certain extent where you go nowhere, but it's still inside of someone. Even if you could say someone is gone, it's nowhere. Yeah? But it becomes a location known, familiar. Yes. You can go back there. So it's in the mind. Of course, not in the worldly mind, but still it is, you see, the mind has so many layers.
So how do I break that? How do I get out of that?
Yes, it's very easy. When nowhere appears, when you experience nowhere, you also discard it. It's not it.
But if I disregard that, then I'm back here.
No. Why? Why do you go back to the body? It's not needed. You just do that not to go back to the body. To be freed is not to go back to the body nor the mind.
But when I'm in that other place, I'm not in the body, and I'm not. So I'm not thinking about the body, I'm not thinking.
Yeah, I know. But I said to you, if you discard nowhere, you go back to the body. Why? It's not needed. You have also to negate that. Otherwise it becomes an answer again. It becomes a landing place again. You want to be freed to think you are the body and the mind. So in that way, you have to negate whatever appears at that time. Whatever appears. And the unknown appears. Nowhere appears. At some point. It's not this. It's not that. No?
Yes, I think I need to assimilate.
You could do it now. You can contemplate that afterwards, but you can have the experience now. You see, the mind, he loves to delay. This is the problem. He wants to delay. So, this is a delay. Because the mind is in the time. And I ask you not to consider the time now. Nowhere is still in the time and space. And that's the best you can reach with meditation, you see. You cannot go much farther. It can be attained, It's not the real thing.
Thank you.
You see, in spirituality, there is also a big handicap because you leave what you cherished before in the world, but then you come to other experiences which becomes cherishable. You don't want to touch them, like silence and so on, like the feeling of eternity, of the absolute. But it is still the bed of the river, you see, and the bed doesn't exist if there is no river, a flow of life, and the river doesn't exist without the bed. But it's all the mind, still the mind, the appearance, the creation. You are that, which allows all this. Just don't define it by anything which appears. It's that simple. But for that, of course, you have to give up your cherished experience or conceptualization or feeling. It's the price to pay to be free. Yes, please.
Hello.
Namaste, Olivier.
Namaste. So I was talking with a friend here.
That's
about,
dangerous.
About how to communicate with people who are not in the search.
Oof.
And because I have this experience, now I'm talking here, and I know there is a way to ask questions and to be in this place here. So when I communicate with people who are not in the search, I easily go to the mind because it's natural.
Yeah. But you know that. You know that you go to your mind.
Yes.
And just react to your circumstances. You know it.
Yeah, I know it.
So what's the problem?
The problem is that
You don't want to use the mind ever anymore.
I don't have no problem with that,
Okay.
but sometimes to communicate is difficult. So
Is it difficult to speak of cars, of the beach, of
I mean,
some very complicated
in
relationship?
relation with people who are close to you, like intimate people.
Intimate people,
Intimate people,
What?
like relation.
You speak of what now?
Like in close relation with the people who are intimate to you. So to me, so I have this difficulty to communicate sometimes without explaining everything in
But you don't need to tell your secret garden. You just reply to them and be nice, and then what? You don't need to tell all the world that somehow this is the mind and I am free from this, and you just reply very naturally to them.
But then I don't speak so much.
Then you don't, it may be true because you have maybe less attraction to do that, but just be a nice, quiet guy. And everybody will say, oh, he became so quiet. Yeah, he became so quiet.
Okay. and I also asked you before that sometimes I like to be more true to people who are not, who abuse like my kindness, because if I don't say nothing, so they will be easy to try some stuff to trigger me.
Don't have that fear. Don't have that fear.
I don't have the fear.
Okay, let them do. Let them do things. It's unavoidable in this world. It's ping pong world.
From what I've read and listened to regarding realization,
Yeah.
it seems that every time a striking experience or a glimpse to understand that is needed. Is that like so?
Well, something has to penetrate you. Sure. A few words have to penetrate you, and if it doesn't, you chew them again and again. And then suddenly it becomes clear. The meaning becomes clear. You mean that? Suddenly the meaning may become clear. You mean that?
I'm wondering, because I was linking that with the meditation,
Yes, sure.
and as you said, in meditation we can attain at least calm mind.
We cannot. Yes,
Or
it's
they
meant
know-
to still the mind.
Or
Yes.
attain nowhere, and it seems that what is needed is always negating the place we are attaining.
That's what I
I
learned.
think I'm trying to find a method to
To what? To go where? Tell me. What do you want?
know, to realize myself.
Yes. You can negate in meditation, you can negate when you don't meditate. Negation is more important than anything else. You can do that everywhere, at any time. I'm not this, I'm not that. And at least give a moment where it leaves you when you say that, you see. I'm not this. Then of course something else will come. I'm not that. Keep sometimes quiet. Because where you are quiet, the man cannot trouble you. Let it be quiet or no quiet. The mind will not touch you. No, I'm absolutely not against meditation, you see, because it's a way also to cut your activities of the mind and of the world. You dedicate some time to it, but have a natural meditation. You see, it is, after all, you meditate what for? Not only to feel well and keep quiet, which will come in its own time. It is an attainment through that practice. But you have to know, after all, I dedicate that moment to be free from all what I think I am. And of course, a still mind, then you don't think. But there is a danger, it's a blessing. But at some point, there is a danger that to take the silence or the place where you rest, which looks a background of everything, for it. Because it will go. You will need to meditate to go back there. You see? And never forget, what is real doesn't depend on anything. Everything else depends on it. So you cannot have the arrogance that, oh, I did this practice and I attained that. Enlightenment is not an attainment.
Can never be tested.
No, never it will be. It is here now, before you make your efforts. But it looks we have to take this human birth to make effort to have this idea of knowing oneself, to be freed, to just discard all the feelings of the humans. It's paradoxal, huh? Whatever you experience cannot be it, because the experience is the experiencer is there. I, you see, I. Even if you say nowhere, who could say that? There must be someone to be there, to experience that, to know that. So you have to be fatigued from experiences to be able to free yourself, to glue necessarily at experiences. You have to be fatigued. And how you get fatigued? By seeing that there is no way out of the mind like that, you see. There is no way out. So you surrender then. You surrender the doer. Means go back from where it arose. Go back from where it appeared. Or just go where it disappears. And you will see that even this movement was an illusion. But you have to do it by yourself. Yes.
This is what I did in the morning. Exactly. So I did this negation when I was walking
Yeah.
in the morning, and then 1 hour, everything just negate. And then I find what I'm doing, because I'm still in the mind doing this.
Yeah, but you forget
then-
to keep quiet where you are left.
And then I was quiet when I was...
I was quiet.
means
Yeah. So you negate it all the time. And then suddenly you have this observation, but I'm working with my mind.
yes.
Huh? That's what you said. And then you were quiet?
Yeah, I was just stopped,
Okay.
I just stopped
Yes.
because
You were fatigued in the mind to do this foolish thing.
yeah,
And where are you left?
I find I was totally in my mind, and I was not aware what was around me. The flowers.
You were left in your mind after
No.
negating?
No,
Okay. So, when you were exhausted, or that, I am in my mind, I am doing something with my mind, it's true. So, okay, so that's gone. And where are you left? Don't make it a mind again.
I was just myself.
I was just myself. And why you don't say it's I am myself? Why you put it in the past?
Because somehow something was coming back. This kind of the mind, but
Something will always come back, but you don't understand. You have to die that something doesn't come back. Something will always come back. Some appearance will always be there. This is the way the self manifests itself. But then you don't care. Oh, this is the expression. I am myself. I am that which doesn't express itself, and yet it expresses itself. You can speak only like that. There will always be something appearing. Even silence is an appearance. I hope you just hear. It's important. Otherwise you miss all those great opportunities simply because you have a belief. Something has not to appear again. You see how one binds himself. Good?
yeah.
And the appearance, who cares about the shape of this appearance? Because there is so many beliefs. Okay, it will always, I understood everything appears, but at least it has to be in a certain respectable form. No, not necessarily.
I mean surrender. Because it's coming natural then.
You surrender means you are not there.
Yeah.
To check, oh, this is acceptable, oh no, this is not acceptable, oh, this should not be there, oh yeah, should be there.
Yeah, when there's no idea.
Yeah,
Then
exactly.
it's natural. Yeah. Okay.
Huh? Anybody wants to? I'm very quiet now, don't worry. Anybody wants to tell something? Yes?
Just to share something that happened a few days ago. And I was in the kitchen cooking, and then in the mind there arrived something, I don't know, in the mind, just a thought. There is nothing, nothingness, just if I want to put in words what is not easy to put in words, nothingness. And like the mind, I felt like the fear of nothingness. And the word that you always say is split second. This is my preferred sentence from you. Split second was just a split second when, a big relaxation. Like, nothingness, fear, and then relaxation. Like, just, and then, like, but this in a split second. There was a feeling of acceptance, big relaxation.
Do you know yourself? Do you know who you are? Because you speak of relaxation. Do you know who you are?
I will say that I don't have to say anything. So whatever I say is the mind.
Yeah, you can tell me.
It's a tricky question. It's still a question. We
Yes.
can activate the mind.
You
And
see
it's
how
not
you
the
escape.
mind,
You
it's
see
not-
how you escape.
Sorry?
You escape. I ask you a simple question. Do you know yourself? Who would care if it is the mind who replies or not? There is somebody too much still. There is somebody too much there because he loves relaxation. That's not who you are.
It's not even that I love it. It's just a way to express something that happens.
I
And
understand.
it's an experience, but it's still an experience. But it was like something.
No, but I
secret.
understand. That's what I also say. It is still an experience. Very nice, because now you are struck by this split second. In fact, yes, it will never be in time to see who you are. But don't sleep then in anything. Who cares about relaxation? It is somebody then who cares. You see? Then the mind took it for himself. He owns the experience.
It is the mind that, like the relaxation, the mind was feeling like you want to have an answer, but there is no answer. And then in that moment, it was this awareness about the mind relaxed. It was a split second, like there is nothing.
Do you know yourself?
Ganga, I have a question. I had a dream last night that you gave satsang and you said, do you have a question? And then I questioned, who am I? And then I looked at you and then there was the I. And then I saw there, I'm looking for the I, but the I is always connected as an attribute. And it looks like I'm looking for an I without an attribute, and I cannot find it.
You are it. You are it. How can you find it? That's what you are. Stop searching. The I without attribute. You are it. As you said, everything else, I as an attribute. Right. So the search stops here. You are without attribute. You are that without attribute. Why don't you speak, Madhu? Since years I've not heard your voice. You have nothing to say? During so many years you have nothing to say? Are you still searching? I don't speak to a fish who cannot reply, they don't have noise. Are you still searching?
No, because something changed that I can take as much real my conceptual thinking than before, but I don't drop the search.
You don't drop.
No.
Even though you know it's a concept also.
Yes,
But what? Why you don't drop this one, for example? Because you see, the realization of what you are will not be an attainment of the search. You know that?
yes.
Okay. So why do you keep the search? To feel alive, to feel existent as a person.
No, I see that it is also a concept like everything else.
Okay, and when you see that, then where are you left? Where are you left? Tell a word. Tell something.
Maybe I'm afraid that I land on an understanding or...
So you rely on the understanding. Okay, it's an attribute. Again, you hook at something. Okay, you need to understand, but you see that understanding where it leaves you. It leaves you on an object. Where it leaves you. What happens to your mind when you understand, okay, so there is no search possible about it? What happens to your mind? Tell me.
It is quiet about the search.
So it stops.
Yes.
You can say it stops.
Yes.
Okay. Now, that stop happens also to someone. Yes or no? Be quick.
Yes. I was not thinking about it.
Yeah, because you stopped, but okay. It happens also to someone. So, who is this I? Who is this I? Without giving answers from the known. You see, who you are is always there. You just are veiling it. It looks, even by experiences. Now there is an experience of stop. Okay, there is no search. You feel, I stop, but as a feeling, it's still an experience, isn't it? So, know that. And then where you are left, if even that is seen, you just rest in yourself. Okay, anything unclear? One day ask me again. You have to dig if you want to be free. If you don't want to be free, you can rest anywhere. So, who is next?